how are you all? This is Shweta Roy, your English Maths teacher at Vedantu, and I welcome all of you to today's amazing session, which is going to be the third session on the Merchant of Venice by none other than our favorite playwright, William Shakespeare. And this is from your ICSE class 10. And yes, I'm super excited to start off with today's session. I hope you all are excited. If yes, then do type a let's rock in the chat box below. And yes, guys, I hope you have revisited the, not revisited, you have visited the previous lessons, previous sessions on The Merchant of Venice, which were Act 1, which dealt with Act 1 and Act 2. And now in this session, we are going to deal with Act 3 and simultaneously look into the various characters, and I'm sure that this act is going to throw a light into several important characters as well. So we are going to look into that as well simultaneously when we are going to deal with the various incidents that happen in the third act, and through those incidents, what are the, like, those incidents throw some light in the character sketches of the major characters, and we are going to deal with that as well. So please listen and stay tuned till the end, because you will be able to have a deeper understanding of few other characters, and that is how you will make some points also in your notebooks to include those incidents when you are dealing about the character sketches. So let us move ahead with the session. And a gentle reminder for VSAT 2020, if you haven't yet registered, please register it right now. This is just for you, and the registration is absolutely free. So do register, and this is just for you. Hurry up and get yourselves registered and get assured scholarship. And then also about Vedantu Pro subscription, you need to visit the link. The link is available as in the description box as well. So use the teacher code SWRPRO to avail the discount. You will get a discount, and the discount price is 2699. So guys, this is just for you. Follow few steps, select the grade, select target, get subscription, and the fourth step is you have to choose your plan. Use the code SWRPRO. You have complete curriculum, structured long-term courses, micro courses, crash courses, and then the best part is you can study and plan your own curriculum. You have test series, assignments, learning material, regular performance report. So what are you waiting for, guys? Hurry up and do subscribe to the Pro subscription, Vedantu Pro subscription. And with that, we deal with our favorite, the most favorite, The Merchant of Venice. So we have divided this, the entire Merchant of Venice into 8 sessions. And I hope this will be really, really beneficial for you all. And we are going to cover all the, the entire play in bits and pieces in such a way that it will remain ingrained in your mind. And if you watch the 8 sessions, I think you will not have any doubt anywhere in your exam, for your exam. So you will be absolutely prepared for your exams if you watch the 8 sessions of Merchant of Venice. Because in the first 5 acts, we had already, first 5 sessions, we will be dealing with the 5 acts of the drama. The first 2 sessions we already did with Act 1 and Act 2, and in this session, we are going to deal with Act 3. In the 6th and the 7th session, we will be dealing with the most important question answers from the play, which deals with, yes, the character sketches, the title, and the other important questions, longer ones that can come in your board exam. And we will deal with them in such a manner which would provide you a deep insight into the text as well. And the last session is going to deal with the important portions of the entire play, which may be tough for you, maybe because of the language, or maybe difficult in understanding. So I would really like to explain all those difficult areas. So in the, like, this is the way how we have divided so that it is beneficial for you all. Now we will deal with the major events that happened in Act 3, Scene 1, and the the explanation of that, the analysis of the events, and what are we waiting for. Let's start off. So Salarino and Solanio discusses the rumors that yet another of Antonio's ships has been wrecked. So that means that Antonio's ships were in, like, almost in a danger position. He was about to lose them, right? So he was stuck, right? So Shylock says now that Shylock, he is absolutely ready now. If you remember, he had signed a bond with Antonio that he's going to, take his, like, he's going to collect 1 pound of flesh from his body, right? So now he is bent on. So if you remember, I told you that when we enter into Shylock, when we enter into Antonio, then Shylock's character is very, very, very important. And we need to look at the character from all the possible angles, from all the possible perspective. And as I also told you, that Shylock is not just an out and out villain. He has a sympathetic angle as well in his character. So we are going to look at that angle as well as we proceed through the play. Now, Shylock, we know that he is a villain, yes, because he is treating the bond too seriously, and that was actually with lot of cunning, with lot of intelligence, he made that bond signed. And Antonio was actually a naive over there, naive person who did not understand the real meaning of the bond, and who signed this deadly bond, which actually dealt with 1 pound of flesh from his body. So Shylock says that Antonio had now, so he remembers how Antonio has maltreated him, mistreated him because of only being a Jew. So he says that had not a Jew eyes, had not a Jew hands, organs, dimension, senses, affection, passions. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not lie? So this is the most important speech from this very scene, because it also provides us another angle to Shylock's character, right? So this is the, it gives us a sympathetic touch towards his character, towards the character of such a personality whom we had considered a villain, an out and out villain. So Shakespeare is constantly bringing us, the audience, into thinking whether, so we are forced to ponder upon the fact whether Shylock is a complete villain, or he has, as I keep telling you, that no one is actually born a villain. It is the circumstances that make him a villain. So is he a victim of the circumstances as well? Because he is remembering the kind of discrimination, the kind of domination he had faced at the hands of uh, the Christians. So he is saying, are we not human beings? You are just discriminating because of us being Jews. But are we not human beings? Don't we have hands? Don't we have organs, passions? If you prick us, do not we bleed? So we are also human beings. So why this discrimination? Why are the Jews always looked down upon and always tortured? Remember Antonio's spitting on the Jews, sorry, on Shylock. So is it only because of the fact that Jews are businessmen and the Christians, they do not like, to lend money with charging some amount of interest? So is it only because of the fact? Why are the Christians constantly trying to dominate the Jews? So this is a tussle between the two religions, Christianity and Jews, that Shakespeare is constantly harping upon by showing the character of Shylock and showing the character of Antonio. So this speech is very, very, very important. This is from Act 3, Scene 1, the most famous speech of Shylock. And Shylock is delivering his speech to Salarino and Solanio. And so from this speech, we can look into the other half of Shylock's character, where we can find like we can empathize with Shylock, who was always tortured, who was always bullied, always subjugated by the dominant Christian. Yes, we can obviously say that he is a villain because of the bond, the kind of bond that he is signing, that is utterly villainous, that is a sin, right? But what is actually leading him to do that? There is a deep seated hatred. And why is this hatred with the Christians? Again, there is a deep history behind it. So we need to understand that history. We need to understand his perspective as well. And then, yes, Tubal says that Tubal announces the reports of Antonio's ships. So Shylock and Tubal, they meet together, and Tubal announces about the loss of Shylock's fortune. Maybe there was a probability, and also he announces the fact that he is not able to find Jessica. So now my question to you is, what do you think would be Shylock's reaction when he hears about both Jessica's loss, like Jessica could not be found, right? And the second is uh, Antonio's prospect of losing his ship and not being able to pay his debt. So what would now Shylock do? Please do comment in the chat box right away. And then we come to Act 3, Scene 2. Now, in Act 3, Scene 2, that deals with Bassanio's choosing the right casket. Now, this is another very important event where Bassanio chooses the right casket. If you remember, Portia was bound by her father's will, which tried to confine her. She thought that she was confined and she did not have a choice, freedom of choice, etc., etc. But yes, her father actually did that for her welfare, because the suitors who were not appropriate, they had completely been rejected on their own with the help of the lottery of casket. So they were eliminated, and now the correct person actually chooses the correct casket. So when he sees the casket made of gold, he thinks that no, I should not choose gold, because this would be like the story of Midas. If you remember Midas, he was he was given a blessing that whatever he touches would be, so you know about the Midas touch, right? Whatever he chooses would be converted into gold. So we have that myth of Midas touch. So he said that Midas, I cannot be like Midas, because whatever he touched actually turned into a gold. Even when he touched any food, that also turned into a gold, and he was unable to eat. So Bassanio was intelligent enough not to choose the gold casket. That shows that provides another insight to the character of Bassanio, who is not greedy. And then he also does not choose the silver casket, because also he thinks that money is not that important. And then he chooses the lead casket because he is, he has no problem in risking his life. So he's eager to risk his life to get Portia. And this throws an insight into Bassanio's character. And then the casket, when he opens, it reveals Portia's picture. And then Portia also gives Bassanio a ring and says that you should not part away with this ring. And she plays a trick with this ring later on, which we will see in the later acts. What trick does she play with the ring? And then Nerissa and Gratiano confesses that they have fallen in love with each other on the other hand. So as I told you that this is a comedy, so at the end we will see multiple marriages, multiple couples coming together. That is how a comedy is supposed to end, in happy ending. So this act is actually preparing the audience towards that, leading the audience towards the happy ending. And then we see that Lorenzo and Jessica arrive along with Salarino, who gives the letter to Bassanio. Now, what is this letter all about? Bassanio reads the letter uh, given by Antonio, in which he says that he is losing, he has lost all his ships, and then Shylock is now bent on taking revenge on him. Okay, and then Portia says that she offers 20 times the sun. Okay, but Jessica, her father, she knew her father very well, and she said that Shylock is not at all interested in money. What is he interested in is exacting the revenge. Okay, so she knew very well, because she was his daughter, so she knew very well what her father can do in order to exact his revenge upon the Christians. And remember, Antonio was a Christian, and Shylock hated Antonio because he faced tortures, right? And then Shylock escorts the bankrupt Antonio to prison. So he is in prison, Antonio is in prison, and Shylock is now very happy. So you can very well understand the situation of Shylock right now. He's bent on taking the revenge. You can just place yourself in the place of Shylock, and you can feel the kind of energy that he is now going through, and the kind of anxiety now he's going through. He's bent on taking the revenge on this hated figure called Antonio, and he puts Antonio in jail. Solanio says that the Duke will not allow this ridiculous contract to sign. But this was a boy, like 1 pound of flesh. This is ridiculous, right? Solanio says that no, this will never happen. But Antonio knows about the laws of Venice. So he says that if the Duke will break the law, then Venice's economy will suffer. So he knows about the stricture of the laws of Venice. And if you remember, that's when Shylock was actually, uh, making this bond sign. He had actually carefully crafted this bond because he knew about all the consequences if Antonio fails to pay his debt. He knew about the stricture of the laws of Venice. So that was very, very, very cunning of Shylock. And now it is question time. Question for you guys. What can you say about the characteristic features of Shylock from the acts that you have read so far? Please write the points that you can, address about the character sketch of Shylock in the chat section below. I would really love to see what you are commenting. Okay, guys? Okay, now next scene is Act 3, Scene 4. And Portia now informs that she has sworn to live in prayer uh, and contemplation until Bassanio returns to her. She announces that she and Nerissa, she says that we are going to live in prayer and contemplation until Bassanio arrives. And she and Nerissa now, they will, retire to a nearby monastery. And then she plans. So she and Nerissa both are hatching a plan. And what are they seeing? That she sends her servant Balthazar to Padua to meet her cousin, Dr. Bellario, who will provide Balthazar with certain documents and clothing. Now, from there, Balthazar will take the ferry to Venice, where Portia will meet him, and Portia informs Nerissa that the two of them are going to be dressed as young men, and they will go and meet their husbands. Now, over here, a certain points that you need to keep in mind is Portia takes the help of her cousin, right? She sends a servant, Balthazar, to her cousin, um, Bellario. So over here, we can very well analyze the fact how women were still. Now, Portia is a very strong, powerful woman. She's portrayed as a witty, strong, powerful woman. She's hatching a plan to, to actually accompany their husbands, and maybe she has some other plans with her. So she's a very intelligent, witty, strong, powerful women, apart from being a very beautiful lady. But the fact still remains from this part that she still has to take the help of a male figure to complete her plan. So she is still dependent on a male figure, despite the fact. So this is, providing an insight to Shakespeare's portrayal of women characters in the plays. So although he makes his women very strong, but still somewhere he is throwing the hint that she still needs the help of a male character in order to fulfill her plan. Right. And the last event is last act in Act 3 is, the last scene in Act 3 is about Lancelot and Jessica, where they are having an argument. Now, what is this argument? This is very important. Whether she can be saved by God because she was born a Jew. Now, this is again a very controversial argument. If she is born a Jew, why would God not save her? Just because she is born a Jew. Then Lancelot says that her parents are Jews, so she is damned. Then she protests that once she marries, then she would become a Christian because Lorenzo is a Christian. Right. So now Lancelot says that Lorenzo, he's joking. He's saying that Lorenzo is not a good man because by converting the Jews, he's raising the price of pork. Now, this entire scene, you have a controversy between Jews and Christians. So Shakespeare, by making this, he's constantly harping upon the Christian Jews controversy, which is the age-old controversy. Right. So another important fact that I would like to mention over here, when Antonio was in jail, he actually was thinking about, he was not actually thinking about his life, saving his life. He was thinking, he was thinking about the fact, he was actually witnessing, like he was desperate to see Bassanio. He was desperately pleading that Bassanio comes and sees him and looks at him, looks at his condition. Now, from this fact, we can come to another deeper level of, you can go a deeper level further, and we may interpret it as a homoerotic relationship between Antonio and Bassanio, because Antonio is more bent upon on seeing Bassanio rather than saving his life. And we can say that the way Antonio is more always trying to help Bassanio, even when he does not have money at hand, ready at in cash at hand. So even he is risking everything for the sake of Bassanio. And the way Portia carefully eliminates Antonio by, intruding upon them. And finally, yes, she saves Antonio, no doubt, but she is drawing Bassanio near her. And she plays the trick with the ring that even shows that Portia is trying to draw Bassanio near her, because she also, this is just an interpretation. Okay, so I'm just making this interpretation. Maybe we can see this as see this in this light, right? Because Antonio is constantly trying to save Bassanio, constantly trying to help Bassanio. Yes, we can see this as good friendship, but somewhere we may also say that Shakespeare is hinting, or he is actually taking us to that level of homoerotic relationship between Antonio and Bassanio. So what do you think? You may have different viewpoints, so please put down your views in the comment section. I am really waiting to see your comments about Antonio's character as well as Shylock's character. So please put down your views in the comment section, and do like the video and keep sharing your love. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this opened up multiple layers of interpretation in your mind regarding the major events and regarding some of the important characters. So please subscribe to this channel so that we can come up with more innovative videos, more helpful videos for you all to prepare for your lessons. So thanks for watching and see you again in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.